You're going to go to File, Open, and you're going to navigate to Student Share, Technical Drawing, and draw, let's see, templates. Except we don't have a template, so you're going to find, oh, wait, that's why. So right down here in your filter, make sure you have drawings selected right here. Okay. All right. So in Student Share, there's a folder called Drawing Templates, and we used metric for these parts, so you're going to want to open a metric border. Which opens up what looks like a piece of paper, and that's exactly what we want. Okay. So now the question is, how do we get these views in here without having to redraw a rectangle and a slot and put all the dimensions in there? Well, it's very easy in SolidWorks. Okay. If you go to the View Layout tab here at the top and go to Model View, it's just like in an assembly, okay, where you can open up, you can import basically a part into a drawing. So here is number 1. So I'm going to double click that, and then it brings you to this model view. What view do you want to bring in? And I always like to bring in the front view first. So I click, and there's my front view. Pretty slick, right? Now if I just move my cursor to above it, it will bring in, what view is that? The top. And then if I bring this to the side, this is the what? The right side. Okay. I can also do this. I could also go at an angle, and what's that view called? Very good, Thomas. Okay. Now when you're done, just click the check mark over here on projected view. Okay. I'm going to get rid of the isometric for now. Now if we look at this, what did it also bring in besides just the views? It brought in the dimensions. Now, are the dimensions in a very nice and orderly fashion? No, they're kind of all over the page. We've got one that's way out here, which, do you think that would be a good thing to turn into somebody that's going to try to make this part? No, because it's not going to be on the page, so it's probably not going to print. So that's going to be problematic. So that is why on Schoology I have given you these keys. Now, let's not worry about the dimensions right now. Let's worry about the different types of lines. Now, the dotted lines, anybody remember what those are called? Now, it's not for construction, okay? That's in a part, all right? This is an actual drawing. Charles? Well, yes. The long, short, long are center lines. The dotted lines are called hidden lines. And they represent something that you cannot see through that surface. Okay? So like if you notice, look at the square here, part of it is a solid line, but part of it is what? A hidden line, because it has this upper part above it, you can't see through it. So you have to represent that by a hidden line. So I'm going to tell you how to turn those on. So I'm going to highlight the front view here. So it's got the orange. It's highlighted. And I'm going to go up to my display style and choose Hidden Lines Visible. And notice that on all of the views, it is now shown the hidden lines. Okay? Any questions about that? Okay? So now we can go and we can start looking at our dimensions. And what we want to do is we want to make it look nice and neat and orderly, because if you're going to give this to someone who is going to, let's say, manufacture this part, They're actually going to cut it out of a piece of wood or plastic, or maybe they're going to have it machined on a CNC mill. All right, they're going to need to know the dimensions. Okay, and the easier it is for them to read it, the faster that they can make it. And the less times they have to go back to you and say, I don't understand what the size of this part of it is. You'd missed a dimension here. Okay, so that's why it's important to pay real close attention to detail and to place your dimensions in an orderly and nice fashion. So that's why I've given you the keys. I don't want you to have to guess as to where the dimensions should go. Okay? So we can look at some of these, and some of them are there. Most of them are there. Okay? However, they might be on a different side. So like the 50 and the 26, they're over here. The 102 is way off the page here, so I can just drag that down and then move it over to the side. The radius, now it doesn't have to be in the exact location that I have them. Okay, so like my 0.75 for the radius, or 7.5 for the radius, is down here, but is it the same thing on the other end? Yeah, it is. So it's okay to be up here. Okay. One thing is this. Notice how this 45 dimension goes through the 25. Do you think that looks good? No, it's kind of hard to read there. Okay. So I'm going to take the 45 and I'm going to drag it down here. And so then this 25, I can also, you can manipulate, you can flip the little arrows, although you want to have the interior. So like if I flip this 26, nope, I don't want to flip the 26. Well, flipping the 26 would be okay. See these little lines right here? You want to be able to see those lines. If you can't see them, like in the 25 here, then you probably want to flip them to the outside, like that. Okay? So these 19s, I'm just going to bring those in like that. I'm going to delete this bubble of a 1. We don't really need that. So really what you want to do is you want to check to make sure that you have all of the dimensions that are on the keys, but also make sure that they're in a nice position. Okay? Now, let's talk about how are you going to turn these in. Okay? So we're pretty much done with this. Like I said, you don't have to have them in the exact same spot that I do, and that's okay. Okay? But it does need to be neat and orderly, and you don't want your views like really too close together like this, but you also do not want them really far apart like this. Okay? You want to have them rather centered on the sheet so there's not too much space. Okay? So let's say that you're done with all of your drawing. You're done with your dimensioning. Anybody know what this is called over here? Say that again? Not quite. It's called the title block. Okay? And in a title block of a drawing, you're going to find a lot of information. So this, instead of saying Cherokee Trail High School Engineering Design, which should say technical drawing, but it could say the company's name. It could say who drew the, it's going to say who made the drawing. It's going to say the date, the scale. Okay, so any drawing, anybody ever seen some floor plans for a building, a house maybe? Okay, every drawing is going to have one of these. And it kind of gives information about who made the drawing, when it was made, any special details. So we want to change this from the drawing title, and we want to change it from CTHS student to your actual name. So what we want to do is, right now I cannot click on this stuff. I can't access it, and there's a very good reason why, and that's because I don't want you to have, accidentally be clicking on things and you end up moving some text or moving a line, okay? But there is a way to access this. If you right-click and go to Edit Sheet Format, notice that your drawing goes away. And that's okay. It's not gone forever. And also notice that in the upper right-hand corner, there is a sheet with a purple arrow. Okay? That means you're going to edit the sheet. Okay? Not the drawing, not the views, but the sheet itself. So now if you notice when I hover over these lines, I can grab and I could move that if I wanted to, which would be a mistake. But I also can then zoom in, and I can double click, and I can now edit that name. Now here's the key, okay? And you will be marked off for not following this. You want to, everything should be in capital letters. Okay, so I'm going to turn on my caps lock, and then notice, what is the color of the text? It's a red or burgundy, okay? Go Cougars. To keep that text, though, you have to hit backspace first. So if I was doing this for me, this would be Paul Clinton, okay? And I want to edit the drawing title as well. So I double click drawing title. Now notice what happens if I just start typing, okay? So SolidWorks, what color is the text? Black. So you have to hit, I don't know why, but you have to hit SolidWorks, or you have to hit backspace first. So SWX 1, okay? And then to get out of that box, you just click off of it. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this to say technical drawing, like it should. I would then change the date, backspace. So this is what? Let's see, 10-19-2015. I'm actually just going to do 15. I'm going to leave the scale where it's at. You can change the period. And when you're all done, you want to click this little purple arrow up in the corner. And look what happens. Everything comes back. Okay? Now, when you're all done, you're going to save this. You're going to save it twice. You're going to do a file, save as, and you're going to change the name. You're going to change the name to what you named the part. Okay? Notice that this has a different extension at the end. It's SLDDRW. Okay? A part file is an SLDPRT. So you don't have to change it and save it as SolidWorks 3D SolidWorks 1 drawing. You don't have to put the word drawing in there. So I'm going to call it 3D SolidWorks 1. And I'm not going to see it says drawing here, so I'm just going to hit save. Now, you're going to save it again. And this time it's going to be save as. You're going to change it to a PDF. Okay? You're going to call it the same thing, but you're going to make 2 copies, a drawing and a PDF. Okay? Now, which one do you think you're going to turn in on Schoology? The PDF. Okay, this is very key. You need to, I'm going to speak very closely into the mic here, so if you're watching this video later, you hear this. You need to turn in the PDF file. Okay, and that's it. That's how you make a drawing in SolidWorks.